afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to look at some tanks that are in the store. Yes, some really good tanks. And that's the Menacing Trio. Yes, the Menacing Trio. As part of a bundle, you can buy 3 tanks for 22,500 gold. Now that does seem a bit too much for tier 8 tanks, but that equals 7.5k gold each. Now, every single one of these tanks is worth 7.5k gold. That's for sure. On top of that, you get their legendary camouflages. You get ×5. You get full equipment as well, and you get an avatar there. We're going to look at 2 of these tanks in particular. And that is the Centurion and the Action X. Now, the Chimera is a very, very good tank. It's not as good as it was when it first came into the game. The turret's not as strong as people hope. The hull's pretty strong, but it's 203mm on your turret, but there is a lot of weak points on the turret. Now, it's a medium in a heavy body, pretty much. So the DPM is nothing special, only 2,000, and the reload is 13 seconds. Penetration 218 and 252 on your APCR, and you have a 440 alpha shot. The speed of it has 10 degrees of gun depression, and it goes 50 kilometers an hour. So you can get bounces. You can get quite a bit of bounces when you're in the right situation, right kind of position, using that gun depression. But more so, we're going to look at these 2 tanks, because I think these 2 tanks are one of the best 2 tanks in tier 8 premium tanks, especially the Centurion Mark 5-1. Now, this is an Australian tank, and again, this is a very similar tank to the Action X. Very, very similar, as this is a medium tank, but the Action X is a heavy tank. So turret 254mm. Very, very good turret armor there. 127 on your hull. Now, the DPM is 2,171. The reload is 5.25 seconds. Penetration 237 on your AP, and 271 on your APCR, so not bad at all. That is with calibrated shells. So of course, if you wanted to run the rammer, you can get the DPM up a little bit more, but the penetration goes down a little bit as well. So yeah, aiming time 2.9, pretty good. Dispersion 0.299, also pretty good. And again, just like the Chimera, it has 10 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 45 kilometers per hour. Now we move over to one of my favorite premium tanks in the game. That is the Action X. Now, the Action X is a super strong tank, and as I've said before, probably the best premium tank in tier 8, maybe even in the game. It is that good. Now, the turret is 254mm of armor there. You got a DPM of 2,518, and just like the Centurion, we are running with calibrated shells, because the reload is so low, it doesn't affect it too much if you're running calibrated shells. I mean, we can have a look here. You're getting an extra 190, so your DPM does go up to 2,700, which is very, very good. But I mean, it doesn't make too much of a difference. I mean, the penetration running the calibrated shells is only 11 on your AP and 13 on your APCR. So some would say that's not even worth running calibrated shells. You may as well run the rammer. So the aim time, very good at 2.5, and the dispersion, very good at 0.290. And just like the other 2, it has 10 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 36 kilometers per hour. So both of these tanks are very, very good. All 3 of these tanks are very, very good. Now, the Centurion, this and the Action X pretty much play the same. You know, they've got a decent speed for what they are, and they've got a very, very good turret, and they've got a very good gun depression. 10 degrees of gun depression with a nice turret, that only means one thing: get yourself on a ridge. Now, of course, they do have the hatches on top that are pretty weak, that can easily be penetrated, but you can sort of help and move your turret, sort of move backwards and forwards. If you are on a ridge line and you're reloading, just back up a bit, or you'll sort of aim your gun up in the air, and it will make it a lot more of a difficult pen. So of course, as you can see, I'm heading straight to a ridge, and we get the first bounce on that Pantera, and we're trying to look straightly at him. Again, you can see we get another bounce from him. Now, if you are on a ridge, which you're going to see in a minute, and you slightly turn your turret, it does become a lot weaker and a lot easier to pen. We're going to have a Chiri coming from the side of us, and as you can see, he's penned us pretty much all 3 times. And now we're going to go up the ridge and we're going to look at that Chiri, and because we're looking at him and we've got our turret at an angle, we are also now getting penned from the Pantera. So right now we're not in a good situation. We've lost a lot of hit points, and if we aim at one tank, the other tank will shoot us. So there's only one thing to do from that, is move away. Move away, and of course we do get lucky with this this VK168 who was coming. He's not looking at us, so we are able just to push him, and he does get gone. So before you know it, not even 2 minutes gone, a minute and a half, there's only 4 tanks left alive. Now the Chiri up there, the Borzik there, and 2 heavy tanks behind us. So I'm going to leave these 2 tanks here. I know that they can be dealt with from our team, because our guy here in the Samoa is currently dealing with 2 tanks. Now my first shot there in the Tiger, the Samoa's first shot damages his ammo rack, so of course I'm just going to finish him off with a nice ammo rack there. And before you know it, it's now just 2 tanks left alive. And now just as 1 tank, we're going to get 1 shot into him, and we are going to get the no, we're not going to get the kill. So that game, not even 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. But you can see that it doesn't really showcase just how good the tank is on a ridgeline, but you have to get on a ridgeline. And at the start of the game, of course, yeah, it did showcase, because I headed straight to a ridgeline and I got bounces straight away. But as soon as you're on that ridgeline, as soon as you start turning your turret a little bit, of course that does make it a lot easier for the enemy to penetrate you. So here I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, because my signal kind of went and I went under the ground there. That's why I'm a little bit behind again, but the team are on the right side. Now with the Action X, I was not looking at all at going left, because there's no really decent positions on the left side. You go to the right side, you've got a ridge line here, and you can just sit on that ridge line. But again, with the hatch on top, you do have to be very careful, and don't give the enemy time to be able to aim at that hatch. When you don't give them time, they're going to rush their shots and they're going to bounce just like there. So we are full hit points right now, and we've bounced 630 damage so far. Now we do know that the Borask is there, so we're going to pay attention to him, but we really want to take care of this Tiger. He's very low hit points, and as long as the team are not pushing, I really want to deal with him, and we do manage to deal with him. So now I'm looking, okay, the Borask is there, yes, he's shooting me, but I'm still getting bounces. So that's 910 blocked damage so far. Now I kind of forgot about the tank destroyers that are in the corner there, and we do get shot from one of them, but luckily it was a low roll. And now I'm getting shot from behind. I'm not in the greatest of positions. They've got the Borask in front and tanks behind, and the TDs to the left. So I need to get in a position so I'm hiding from these tanks and only got the Borask there. So now I got rid of him. It's a 4 versus 3. I still need to be careful, because I am a 1-shot to both of these tank destroyers, and I really want to wait for this Scorpion, because he's a 1-shot, of course, but I still need to be careful of that ISU. So we take care of him. And now the T-54 lightweight's trying to run away, and we can take care of him. So the DPM is fantastic on this tank. You can see we can still block damage. We can still get block damage, 1200 block damage there. And that was very easy block damage. We didn't even really try to get that block damage. And we've managed to get up sort of 2600 damage. Nothing special, but considering we made that mistake at the end, we are lucky to be alive. But it's a very good tank, guys, and at 22.5k gold for all 3 of these tanks, that is actually a very good price. Of course, you can buy them separately, but that's sort of 10,000 gold, 8,000 gold for some of them. You get a better deal buying them singly. You get a better deal buying them as a bundle. And all 3 of these tanks are definitely tanks that are worth having in your garage. But the best of the bunch is definitely the Action X. The Action X, as I've said, is still one of my favorite tanks in the game, my favorite premium tank in the game, and it really is one of my go-to tanks to have a little bit of fun in. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you make up your mind. Definitely, if you have 22.5k gold to spare, buy all 3 of these tanks. If not, and you can only afford one, go for the Action X because it is fantastic. And of course, the legendary camouflage there, you have 2 legendary camouflage, and both of them are actually really, really nice. I love some of the best camouflages in the game, especially this one. Very, very nice indeed. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsy69. Tomorrow we will be back with an updated Tiger P video. It's been a while and it's getting the tungsten shells, so keep an eye out for that. Stay tuned, get subbing, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye. With